What up gamers, I'm Sir Mav and welcome to another weapons test for Destiny 2. Today we're looking at the new Cabal exotic, the Heir Apparent, that you can acquire by completing the Class Act Triumph from the Season of the Worthy Guardian Games event, and how it compares to the other machine guns within the game. Now whether or not you'll be able to acquire this exotic after this event, they haven't announced just yet, so it could be like the Devil's Ruin and we'll be able to get it at a later time, or it could be through another path right after the event. Either way, once Bungie releases that information, I'll be sure to include it in a pinned comment down below. But without further delay, let's jump into it. Now the Heir Apparent is a very unique weapon that has been added to this season, and although the Guardian games are rather dull due to the bounty grind it's based around, you'll definitely want to muster through to acquire this new exotic. So what makes this new machine gun so unique from the rest of them? Well, if we go through the perks, the Heir Apparent comes with corkscrew rifling, which provides it with increased range, stability, and handling speed, and a pinned mag that allows the Heir Apparent to carry up to 200 rounds in one mag. But the one truly unique perk on this Gatling gun is the next perk, Armor of the Colossus. As the perk states, while at full health, spinning up the Heir Apparent will provide you with an arc shield. Now originally when I first saw this, I thought that the shield was only going to be within the front of the weapon, but instead it works exactly like a Cabal elemental shield that we would see in any PVE content. So as the machine gun spins up, you'll have a full arc shield engulfing the entirety of your character. This shield though is both a pro and a con for this weapon. For one, the only way that you can have this additional shield is by continuing to spin up the Heir Apparent, and you must be at full health at all times for it to activate. Which isn't all that hard, but it just means that you have to play more passively to allow this shield to build up. The spin up for the Heir Apparent takes exactly 1.4 seconds before you can initiate this overshield and start firing off the weapon. On the plus side though, you are a mobile fortress while this overshield is active. As you can see here, while doing the pit boss, you can literally tank anything being thrown at you by Zulmak. And this works in pretty much every activity within the game, ultimately allowing you to face tank any bosses within any activity. On the other hand, in PvP, the shield is great at allowing you to tank shots from the enemy team while you mow them down, but if the enemy has an arc weapon, they can counter you with a heavy cost. As you see here, breaking the Heir Apparent shield with an arc weapon works exactly the same as it would when breaking an enemy shield within PvE content, with a deadly AoE explosion which will not only place you at critical health but damage your teammates as well. But if you play it smart and stick to the ground, you can decimate Guardians within Crucible, as you'll see when I cover TTK and all the other damage stats here in a bit. But just remember, no jumping and keep spinning up or else you'll lose the overshield from this gun. So although the Heir Apparent can decimate someone on the other end of it, it can definitely be countered with an arc weapon or ability. And this is simply because if you use any other weapon against the arc shield, you'll lose about 9% of your weapon's overall damage, as you can see showcased here in the table comparing the Void Recluse and the Arc VY7. Since the VY7 is an arc submachine gun, it maintains its full damage against the arc shield, plus causes the AoE explosion when it breaks the shield, knocking the player using the Heir Apparent to an inch of their life. And in the example I'm showcasing you, this is against a full resilience hunter for comparison. So anything below 50 resilience just might kill the user once broken. Either way, you're one bullet away from death once that shield breaks. And then the last perk on the Heir Apparent is Combat Grip, which provides this gun with a more predictable vertical recoil. And in all honesty, this is a pretty stable machine gun given that you can't aim down sights and you'll always be firing from the hip with a solid 900 rounds per minute. Now these perks are all good and great, but what you came here for is to see how the Heir Apparent compares with the rest of the machine guns within Destiny 2. Well, being the analytical mind that I am, I tested out each machine gun that most of you will be utilizing within the game. So we have of course the new Heir Apparent, the other exotic machine guns Thunderlord and Xenophage, then I also tested the 21% Delirium, the Hammerhead, Avalanche, and Edgewise. Now as you see in the table, the Heir Apparent already has quite an advantage over the other 900 round fire rate options, as its damage per bullet is 30% higher than any other 900 machine gun. Even when the 21% Delirium has a killing tally ×3 active, the Heir Apparent still does 12% more damage per bullet at its base. The Heir Apparent also has the highest amount of reserve ammo with a total of 500 rounds at your disposal. So if you're not using the Actium War Rig on your Titan, you'll only have to reload 2 times before running out of ammo. But when you do have to reload, it'll take exactly 5 seconds before you can start spinning up the barrels once again. Which is rather average when compared to the other machine guns I tested, but you can reduce the reload speed down to about 3.2 seconds by using a sprint stop once you see the magazine loaded down in the bottom left. This was essentially the same trick we'd use on the Izanagi's Burden Sniper till Bungie made it to where you have to go through the full reload time before firing. And even though that there can be a con to this arc shield in PvP, there is no doubt that the Heir Apparent has the fastest TTK rate of all machine guns within the game when used against enemy guardians. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, blazing the competition at 0.48 seconds with all body hits and 0.4 seconds with all shots hitting the head. But again, take into account that you can be more mobile with any other machine gun, and you'll have the ability to aim down sights with all other machine guns. Also, when we take a look at the damage graph, keep in mind that the Thunderlord actually has the highest fire rate of all the machine guns when at the end of the magazine. But it's only for the last 21 rounds unless you utilize the Actium War Rig chest piece for the Titan, which initially keeps reloading the gun over and over without having to let go of the trigger. But this is essentially because the rate of fire for the Thunderlord has 3 sequences. It fires at its normal 450 rounds per minute for the first 15 rounds. The next 26 rounds will exit the barrel at about 716 rounds per minute, and the rate of fire will max out at a whopping 1050 rounds per minute for the last 21 rounds. There are also 5 lightning strikes that add an additional 3000 damage, give or take, to its targets as long as you're able to continuously hit your target. There also seems to be some kind of arc tick damage occurring on the target when the lightning hits that continues to damage the target, but it's too hard to make them out with all the other numbers showing up while firing. So just something to keep in mind here, as we're not seeing the entire story for the Thunderlord here in the next chart. But when we do look at the damage graph, you can see that the Xenophage still reigns supreme to all other machine guns in burst damage. We do see both the Heir Apparent and 21% Delirium with max killing tally catch up to the Xeno around the 11-second mark, but once the Xenophage is locked and loaded, it maintains those high DPS numbers once again. Where the Heir Apparent really takes over though is in sustained damage. Because it showcases an immense amount of reserve ammo without mods, in the end you will out DPS all other machine guns in the long run before you ever run out of ammo. Of course, not all damage phases are going to last over 30 seconds like Zolmak in the Pit of Heresy, and you may not always hit every single crit shot on your target. Overall though, given the numbers, its use in PvE, and being able to maintain survivability, the Heir Apparent is definitely a new exotic you'll want to pick up and add to your arsenal of weapons in Destiny 2. So in my opinion, it's definitely worth the grind to acquire during the Guardian Games event, which at the time of this video's release will be a little over a week to complete. But that's all the intel for today, gamers. Glad I got to showcase the stats of these machine guns finally within the game, and it was definitely some fun utilizing the Heir Apparent this week within all the activities that Destiny has to offer up. If you have any other questions that I may have not showcased within this video, just let me know down in the comments below. And if you're still here in this part of the video, I appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end. But if you enjoyed this content and found it helpful, drop this video a like and tap fire subscribe for more on Destiny 2. As always, be helpful, have fun, and until next time gamers, this is Sir Mav, signing off.